Hey guys, thanks for hanging out and watching this or watching the replay if you are. So I've been getting a lot of questions and follow-up questions and just engagement on this whole topic of streams of income. Of course, that's the name of my podcast, the name of my book. But with Jenny's episode about 18 plus streams of income, people are like, what in the world? How did she do that? And so we just wanted to go over give you some examples of some of the people that are doing this so you can see how you can do it, because who cares about, I mean, honestly, who cares about how many Jenny has done? You want to know how much you can do and how to duplicate what she's done and create 1, 2, 3, 20, whatever it is that you need to do to get to your goals. And so we want to give you some examples of people that we know who are doing this, and from different industries and different backgrounds and experience and expertise, so that you can see yourself doing this. Because this is the reason that I wrote the book, is I want you to create multiple streams of income, and you guys can do it too. And Jenny was just an awesome inspiration. But let's talk about you. Jenny, anything else you want to add there before we bring up this cool quote that we chatted about?
No, let's start with that quote. That was
Okay.
really cool.
So a lot of guys, well, I'll just read it. You'll get it. So this is on my friend Jason Miles's Instagram feed. It's a quote from Russell Brunson's book, Expert Secrets. And here's the quote: "The problem for most of us is that our unique abilities are things that come second nature to us. So they don't seem that amazing and we dismiss them." Gosh, that's so true. The things that you are good at, you do it. You're good at it. So you think that, well, everybody's good at that.
Right.
Everybody can get up and speak because you can get up and speak. Everybody's an amazing cook because you are. It's not true, is it?
Right. And even your thought processes, your perspective. It's so easy to think that, well, doesn't everybody see the world I do?
Right.
The way I do. And that's, the older you get, I think the more that clear that is. But we have these blind spots. We really do. And we need community to be telling us, reminding us, wait a minute,
You do.
I see things different than you do. And that's why one of the reasons why I think relationships are so important, just in our own life, but also in our business growth,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a really good quote.
Yep. So we want to just dig into this a little bit. We got a few minutes. This is essentially a podcast follow-up to help you guys envision yourself creating multiple streams of income. So we talked about, before we get on here, friends of mine, Jimmy and Brittany Smith. Jenny, you know them. And they're Amazon sellers. And so they sell, and Jimmy was episode number 3, I believe, of this podcast. And they do $100,000 per month in sales on Amazon. And it was through replens. These are items that sell over and over again. Mm-hmm. So I went to Jimmy and said, you need to create a course. So we created a course together and launched that. Now Jim Cockrum came in and also launched it as well as a course, and it's doing really well. And now Jimmy and Brittany have multiple streams of income related to this whole replen idea. And so they're doing coaching, and it's just that one idea of replens, right. And it turns into multiple streams from that.
Right. And so one of the things we talked about on the podcast was, if you're trying to figure out what it is you're passionate about, now this is an Amazon example, but guys, I know a lot of you, not everybody sells on Amazon or on eBay or, even in that world at all, which is it's totally fine. You don't have to apply the idea of building out multiple income streams. You don't have to be an Amazon seller, an e-commerce seller, right, in that way. But the common thread that I tend to see with people, and this is true for my own story too, is looking at what have you learned or overcome in your own life, right? Mm-hmm. And we talked about that on the podcast. Yeah. So Jimmy and Brittany, this was something that they had applied in their own life, became very successful with it, and realized, hey, I can teach other people how to do this too. That's kind of my story. Actually, I was selling on eBay. I actually got really burned out. And I don't know if you are selling on e-commerce on Amazon and eBay, and you're in Q4, you might feel a little burnout right now or getting really close to it. It's a crazy time of year to be selling in that way. And I was burning out. And so I thought, man, I have knowledge that I think I've learned things that I didn't know when I started, that I think I could help other young moms who want to stay home with their kids. And that's where I was starting to offer my knowledge to other people who were in the same situation I was. My knowledge came from my own experiences, things that I had learned along the way. And I thought other people are going to want to learn this too. And guys, you have a story like that too. I promise you have
Yep.
a story like that too. You might need a little bit to do some digging, and we love to do that with people to help them figure out what this is. But I think we have a couple other examples.
Yeah, well, so I know a lot of you aren't Amazon sellers, and that's totally cool. And so the reason we mentioned that first is because we know a lot of people in our audience are your e-commerce sellers, or you have an e-commerce seller selling background. But this works for literally anybody. We have a pastor friend of ours. This is one of the examples we're going to use, but just so you know, it can be from different examples, different backgrounds. You're a coach, you're an author. Guys, there's really not any piece of content that Jenny and I have not been able to figure out a way to create multiple streams from that one main piece of content or theme or knowledge or skill or passion. So one we mentioned was Susan. So Susan's in a group that we run, and she is a mom of how many? Do you know how many kids she has?
Susan, how many
A
kids
lot.
do you have? 4, 6, and more than 4, less than 6, maybe 6?
And so she's learned how to travel for a long, like months at a time
Yes.
with her
Like to
family.
buy a car abroad, that long enough to buy a car abroad and then resell it,
Yep. And be able to do it on a budget, essentially, to be able to have these amazing experiences with her family. Now, guys, that may not be something you ever want to do, and that's totally cool. But this was her knowledge and skill set of how to do this on a budget to make it feasible for a family. And they're not like super crazy rich or anything. She's been an Amazon seller. I don't know exactly what her husband does, but the point is she's made it turn that knowledge into a course that she's building out of how other families who want to have extended vacations or go overseas or travel for long periods of time, how they can do it on a budget.
And what's interesting is, I think as you start talking, I think as she's starting to talk and open up about, hey, anybody else interested in this, she's finding there are actually a lot of families who are very interested in this and who have the kind of lifestyle. They homeschool, they're self-employed or something, that gives them that flexibility to be able to do this. And these are their dreams. And she's putting feet to their dreams and finding community, finding these other people who have the same dream that she had when they were starting to travel as a family. So yes, it's amazing. And I think she's starting a podcast. She wrote a book. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that she's doing all around that one idea, which is the key. And then real quick, you brought up Jason, and
let's talk about Jason. Sure.
So Jason is a pastor. He's in a couple groups that we have, and he's focusing on building out journals that are related to his niche, like sermon note journals, that type of a thing. And actually has a plan. He started selling. He's on Amazon, so he's using that to fund a lot of this, to bring in some revenue. And then, but where he's really going to build a brand is in this idea of helping churches and using the journals and that whole building a brand around that. That can turn into more opportunity for him as he gets deeper into that to help maybe even consult churches. I mean, there's so many directions he can go with that. And sometimes as you get into it, you start seeing the community starts responding, and as you serve them, they start telling you what it is they want, and that allows you to pivot and grow and build. But really, the common denominator is this people looking at what they've overcome, usually is related to their passion. They're passionate about something along those lines, and being able to build something that generates revenue that serves audience well as well. And we have this blueprint that we've talked about before, right? The Influence the Easy Way, the Master Plan of Influence blueprint. And it's basically you take your pieces and you can plug them in and you have a map. You have a map and you know exactly, it's not like I just posted yesterday on my Facebook page, stop duct taping your business strategies together, right? Because we do that. We go for, here's a low hanging fruit and here's some and here's some. And it's just like this random mix of things. And at some point, that's not going to work for you anymore. It's going to be so overwhelming. And so having a plan in place allows you to not get to that place of overwhelm because you know where you're going. So we're going to be live this next week in a group that we just opened up called Build Your Income Streams Training. And that's the name of the group. And we're going to be going live in there and helping you learn how to build out revenue streams, build out income streams around what you're passionate about or what you have overcome or where you feel called, what your message is. And even if you don't have a clue what that is, there's something in this group for you. We'll help you figure that out. We're so excited about this. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. And it's so fun to be able to finally do that. But I want to invite you guys to join. We start tomorrow, Tuesday at 12 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Sorry about Mountain Time, and I don't know what Europe is. I just can't, but it's kind of goofy for me. I got those three. I'm good. Anyway, we start tomorrow in there. And what were the things we're gonna? Well,
so
actually,
tomorrow,
what's the link? It's
one of them is influencetheeasyway.com is the page where you can get the link to this free Facebook group. It's going to be a temporary group where all the trainings are going to be. And you'll have access to the recordings if you can't make them live, because I know in the afternoon, a lot of you are busy.
And it's Christmas. I mean, we totally get that, but you've got to join the group to get the replays. So you want to at least be in there. It's all free.
Yep, absolutely. So influencetheeasyway.com, influencetheeasyway.com. You can get link to that. So the topics, one of them is going to be how to bolt down your business. So I know a lot of you are e-commerce sellers. And so how do you, I know it, I get it. I've been in this position where you are working on something that's bringing in you income. You have a passion for something else. You really want to write that book or create that course. How do you get your Amazon business, your eBay business, or whatever it is? And this applies to anything that you're doing. How do you get it to a point to where you can spend that time to work on what you're really passionate about? How do you outsource? How do you do the things you need to do to buy that time back to work on what you're really passionate about? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to have a hot seat, which is going to be super cool, which is essentially, we're going to have an example. One of you guys that are in that group is going to volunteer to share what's on your heart. And then Jenny and I are going to brainstorm with you ways to make money and to monetize those passions. And this will be helpful for everybody, because it's the same process. Once you have a piece of content, it can turn into many things. And so we're going to use somebody as an example. We're going to talk about how to create a course in 3 days, which sounds crazy, but it is very possible. What else?
And you know what? Don't let that turn you off if you're not in. You're like, I don't want to have a course.
Right.
By the time we get to that training, you just might want to, because
exactly right.
There's so much value there, and it's actually it can be an idea generator. Even if you build a course, the feedback that you get. So tomorrow we're talking about bolting down your current business. I'm looking at the schedule now. Wednesday, we're talking about, how to monetize your passion in general. So what if you don't know what you're passionate about? I get it, because when you start thinking about it, it's like, ooh, and we can overthink. So we'll be talking about how do you get past that? And how do you figure out, what do I want to even pursue if you don't have that vision yet? And then if you do, then how do I make money from it? So we'll cover that. And then you said hot seat, getting started with the course, and we're going to go over this blueprint. We're going to give you this blueprint, guys. This is all free training. So you'll get this blueprint. In the hot seat, we'll show how to take an idea and actually plug it into the blueprint. So you'll have everything you need to start building multiple streams of income for your business, whether you're brand new, or whether you already have an idea. Maybe you even have a course already out, or you already have a podcast, or you already have a book or something that you just want to grow from. All the tools we're going to give them to you this week in the free Facebook group. Go to influencetheeasyway.com and sign up. We start tomorrow at noon. It is a temporary group, like Ryan said.
And it's free.
And it's free. It's free. So come in, even if you can't watch it live, whatever, the training will stay in there for a replay, but you've got to be in the group to get the replay.
That's right. Cool. Anything else?
I think that's it, guys.
Awesome, guys. Happy to have you in the group. Feel free to ask questions. We're here to help. Really are. Post questions in this feed, or email me, Ryan@ryanrieger.com.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys.